Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
An old man lay awkwardly sprawled across 3 entire seats in the movie theater. When the usher came by and noticed this, he whispered to the old man, "Sorry, sir, but you're only allowed 1 seat." The old man didn't budge. The usher became more impatient. "Sir, if you don't get up from there, I'm going to have to call the manager." Once again, the old man just muttered and did nothing. The usher marched briskly back up the aisle, and in a moment he returned with the manager. Together, the two of them tried repeatedly to move the man, but with no success. Finally, they summoned the police. The officer surveyed the situation briefly and then asked, "All right, buddy, what's your name?" "Joe," the old man moaned. "Well, where are you from, Joe?" asked the police officer. And with a terrible strain in his voice, and without moving, Joe replied, "The balcony." I love that one. Morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Come on, call in. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell. And on a Thursday, beautiful day, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale. Stop in and see them today, along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My dear friend Jerry, have a wonderful day. Thank you for giving us the pledge. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You have a wonderful day, and may the Lord bless you and your whole audience.
I appreciate it, old friend. Thank you. Hey, let's go to the weather real quick. Brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Right there, smack dab. Can't miss them on the Burley-Paul Highway. For the best of tools and equipment, I mean for your spring projects, you're getting ready for your gardens, and you're getting ready for all that fix-up and clean-up. They've got everything right there at K&R Rental. Yep, as I said, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. And the number to call if you're not sure what you need, 678-3122. 678-3122. Right now, let's have the weather.
Looks like we're going to have a great weekend. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. For today, expecting mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to be around 71. Then for tonight, clouds moving in, maybe a slight chance of showers, expecting a low of 47. As we move into Friday, we will enter a high wind watch, looking for partly sunny skies, areas of blowing dust, and a high of 67. Then Friday night, mostly clear and windy with a low of 38. Then for Saturday, sunny sunny skies, a high of 64. Saturday night, mostly clear and a low of 37. Then for Sunday, sunny and 61. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Have a great day.
I am sick and tired of the wind. The wind! I mean, I don't chase hats real well. Thank you very much, Scotty. Appreciate it. The weather forecast brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Yeah, they get there early in the morning. Call them for any information, 678-3122. Merv May, come on in here.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 31, going out, 30.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best doggone auctioneer, Merv May, over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And sale time this morning at the sale that works for you, 10:30. And don't forget, for sale information and cattle consignments, call them at 678-9411. Merv May, K. Draghi, Lance Udy serving you. Hey, they're going to have a lot of butcher cows today from Acme Dairy, Antelope Hills Dairy, Funk Dairy, and, of course, a big trailer line run. And Merv wanted me to remind you next week. Listen to this. Put it on your calendar. Next week, they're expecting about 120 head of Holstein steers, ripping good Holstein steers, weighing between 700 and 800 pounds. So get to the sale today at 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And Merv, come on in and sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 31, going out, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, sell them $1.35. Zeb Mel gets bottom.
No, I could listen to that chant all day long. He does a wonderful job. Hey, I know somebody else that does a wonderful job, and that's, of course, our friends, your friends, everybody's friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They also get to the office early in the morning, 7:30 as a matter of fact, till 5, Monday through Friday. And for all your heating, and now the big word, cooling needs and electrical needs, everything right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Better stop in or give them a call, 678-0459. Over 6 decades of serving you. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see them today. We've got a little change in the order of the programming today. Not a severe change, but actually kind of an addition. On Monday, I was not here. I was in the hospital. And so we missed a lot of things, different segments, including Vicky's Country Garden. So we're going to have an abbreviated Vicky's Country Garden this morning at about 9:17, right after the Chamber Report. And looking forward to that. Hey, Denny's Restaurant. Deanne pulled off a couple of things that are new on the menu. And, oh, my goodness, they've got the over 55 menu. Pancakes, omelets, breakfast skillets, all kinds of great chicken recipes, sandwiches. Oh, the list goes on. And you can also order online at Denny's.com. What are you waiting for? America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Yep, the best. America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Go there, be there, enjoy there. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And now, there are 20. Uncle Joe Biden, yeah, good old, put his foot in his mouth, Uncle Joe, has thrown his hat into the big ring to be nominated by the Democrats. Old Uncle Joe. He's too old to be president. Bernie Sanders is too old to become president. But they're coming out, and this morning they said with their video they are pushing for Joe to be president of the United States. Now, caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. I saw about 1 minute and 30 seconds of an excerpt of the video, the announcement video of Joe Biden coming out to run for president. And I know I'm prejudiced. I'll say that right up front. I don't like him. I know that I'm prejudiced against the Democrats. I'll say that right up front. I don't like them. But it was one of the most disgusting, dark, sinister, and negative, cheap shot videos I've ever watched in my life. The minute and 30 seconds that I saw out of a 4-minute video. I'll talk to you more about that in a moment. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, you stole all my thunder. I was going to tell him about Joe.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I am going to give Joe 3 weeks, maybe even a month, before he just drops out of sight.
Why do you say that?
He's got no substance.
Well, and Wheels, we got a little feedback here. Help me on that. I disagree that he's going to be dropping out in 3 weeks. I think he's going to be in the clown car with the other 19 for a substantial amount of time. The Democrats are going to try to milk his being involved as a possible nominee because people like Pelosi and others of the older guard of the Democratic Party don't want to see him drop out. They're scared of the younger people getting involved because they're going so far left. I don't know if I agree with you, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings if you were right at all. As a matter of fact, I would applaud you.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything to run on. When his former boss, Barack Obama, won't come out and endorse him, doesn't that tell you something right there?
Well, it tells me a lot of things about what's going on in the Democratic Party. First of all, it tells me that Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, as I said for many, many months and years on this program, they're cowards, and they only lean the way the wind blows. Right now, they are kind of hedging their bets a little bit that Uncle Joe Biden, Mr. Foot in his mouth, can do anything that's really going to get the rest of the American public behind him. And I think Barack Obama, honestly, will sell his soul to the devil to back anybody, whether it's Beto O'Rourke or whether it's Pete Buttigieg or whomever. I don't think they care, just as long as they put forth their absolutely terrible, sleazy, leftist viewpoints.
How long do you think it'll be before the Republican Party brings out this trip to Russia with his son, and how his son made millions of dollars off of it, riding on our dime?
You bring up a really good point. Keith, you bring up a really good point and a story that I think it would be a mistake right now to really let anybody come out with that and use it full bore. That's kind of like dessert after a good steak dinner. And let Joe get in. Let Joe kind of muddy the water a little bit. And then when things start to look like he may be the possible nominee, open up the curtain and let that story out, because it's a good one.
I think that's some good advice, and I think that would be the thing to do.
All right, my friend. Listen, you and Nancy, oh, by the way, this is a cookie alert, cookie alert, cookie alert. I'm down to 6 cookies, Nancy. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to the maker.
All right. Hey, God bless you. Thank you for your call this morning. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, thank you. Nancy made some sugar cookies, and I love sugar cookies. Ever since I was a little boy, I don't want any frosting on them. Spoils them. I like just plain old sugar cookies with a light coating of sugar. And Nancy made some for me the other day, and oh, are they good. But we're getting limited numbers. We're down there, Nancy. Thank you. That's terribly rude to ask for more cookies, isn't it? But I am. Don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Had a nice visit with Nick yesterday. And I hope I can get back down there again next week and start working out again. All the exercises and, of course, the use of the only hydrotherapy pool in the area and all the knowledge. I mean, these people that are physical therapists there, ooh, they are walking encyclopedias with exercise and what's best going to help you get back to being you. Call for an appointment today at 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You get a hold of them today. Oh, by the way, with the weather forecast like it is, you know the farmers are out there and they are going gangbusters right now, man. This is their time, this is their season, and they're getting their job done. And that calls for irrigation systems you can depend on, rely on, and they're going to get the job done for you. Rain for Rent. Absolutely. Rain for Rent at 134 South, 600 West of Paul. And Jake and the rest of his crew, they are Reinke diamond dealers and really knowledgeable people. I mean, people that understand, and they've got a complete education in irrigation. They can tell you all about the telemetry annex boxes where you can control your pivots right over your cell phone. Holy moly. Things have changed a lot since I was a wee one. Don't forget Rain for Rent at 134 South, 600 West of Paul, 438-5065. Really good people. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Cookie Monster.
Oh, if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black. Good morning, Joe.
Well, today at the Senior Center, we're having a new item. It's called orange chicken.
Ooh.
I don't know what it is, but I promise it'll be good.
Oh, my.
And we'll have some mashed taters and gravy, mixed vegetables, and salad, and chocolate cake.
No, Joe, it's not just chocolate cake. What is it with a loud, booming voice? Really, what is the name of it?
Chocolate cake with frosting.
There you go. Hey, orange chicken.
If anybody wants some lunch to go, call in by about 11:30, and it'll be ready for you at 12.
Okay.
It's only $5 for any and everybody. All you can eat.
All right, Joe. Hey, listen, Joe, orange chicken, if it's what I think it is and remember it to be, you're absolutely going to do your grinners a big favor, sinking your teeth into that. It's good.
Have a good one.
All right, buddy. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Thank you. My buddy Joe Taylor over there at the Senior Center on Overland in Burley. Really nice people. I want to also remind you, before we continue on with our escapade through politics this morning, oh, my goodness, Joe Biden. I mean, come on. Can't they put and find anybody better? The people that they've got in their 20 clown car list are laughable at best. Some of the people that have thrown their names in the hat, that my grandmother used to sit there, and my German grandmother, and anything that disgusted her, she found to be absolute lunacy. She'd go, Well, that's what I feel like, too. Don't forget Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union. Hello, Dr. Bill and the crew over in Hayburn. And I tell you what, it's springtime. Spay and neuter your dogs and kitty cats. And don't forget to get that done. Don't forget to deworm your horses. Don't forget, for any health needs for your kitty cats, puppy dogs, dairy cattle, horses, whatever, they're there waiting for you at Ark Animal Hospital, 678-1177, 678-1177 over in Hayburn, where they have warm hearts for cold noses. Your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Real quick, I want to remind you, too, about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, teamed up to help you with your home comfort systems. Ho, ho, ho! They're offering up to $1,700 in rebates on a new home comfort system. Find out more about it. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. There you go, Zeb. And remember, Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. There you go. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to ask you something. You know, this video, I saw a minute and a half of it, and like I said, it was disgusting, dark, very dark. negative and a cheap shot against the Trump administration. And it showed marching members of the sinister Ku Klux Klan and Nazi flags. It was so dark and sinister. And the point I'm making about Joe's announcement that he wanted to get in the race for president, you would think, honestly, that Joe Biden would want to hit the public with, I'm Joe Biden and I can do this for you. And here's some of the really great things that I have planned for you, the people of America, if I become president. But no, it wasn't that. It was very negative and dark, and like I said, the marching of the Ku Klux Klan and Nazi figures and everything, and Nazi flags. What? What? Against Donald Trump. It was just, like I said, Joe has joined the bunch of now 20 that are trying to squeeze themselves all into a clown car. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. Joe Biden is one of the biggest labor fakers that ever come onto the political scene. He did nothing for 8 years, accomplished nothing under Barack Obama, probably picked up some of Obama's bad habits. And right now, from what I heard last night, he's pushing racism.
Joe
promoted into the presidential spot.
Yeah, Joe Biden has so many times put his foot in his mouth with some very, very caustic language, some very, very stupid language. And it wasn't that long ago, if you'll think about this, Tony, think about this, he was really backed into a corner because he had plagiarized, in other words, stolen some of the content of various speeches and called it his own. Joe is a liar. Joe is a fraud. Joe is a charlatan. And Joe is not capable of being president.
I know, but that's one of the perfect examples of what's going on with the Democratic Party today.
I agree. Tell me, honestly, of all the 20 people, now, Tony, you're a sharp guy. Go ahead and quickly rattle off all the 20 names that are running for the Democratic nod.
Well, most of them, what have we got? Cortez, Almar, and...
No.
I don't have any others we've got.
No, she's... Yeah, well, first of all, Cortez isn't running for president. I'm just saying that of the 20 absolute nincompoops that are running for president's nomination on the Democratic Party, most people out of the 20, when asked, and I saw this on television last night, kind of a man-on-the-street interview, most people can only name four out of the 20 that are possible nominees. And it just seems like the whole thing is open to anybody and everybody that wants to throw their hat in the ring, regardless of a lack of talent or ability, like Pete Buttigieg. This guy is nothing, absolutely nothing but offensive. But Joe Biden throwing his hat in the ring, I think it's a waste of time, Joe. It's a waste of time.
Well, this whole Democratic Party, as far as I'm concerned, has raised the white flag of surrender where this border thing is concerned. And I would not want to see another dumb Democrat in office just turning back everything that Donald Trump has done.
I agree.
So far.
I agree. Tony, I think you and I are spot on the same. We're on the same fence rail. Thank you very much, my dear friend, and God bless you and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep your guns loaded.
Always. Thank you. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to go back in a minute and just reiterate with the addition of another topic that I did not remember to put on my list yesterday. And I'll explain where I'm headed in just a minute. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental Sales, Service, and Parts, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with old buddy Eli, and the Nampa location. I mean, they've got all the Doosan wheel loaders and excavators. Woo! and all the bobcats for the lifting and the digging and the pushing and the carrying. I'm telling you, they can get the tough jobs done with the equipment from Barry Equipment and Rental. Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa, you stop in and see the best today. Barry Equipment and Rental. Real quick, too, while I have a moment, I want to tell you that you deserve to just go home in night or on the weekends and just sit back and relax. Relax and enjoy your home. Well, you say, well, I got this to do and that to do. No, wait a minute. You owe yourself a little time, a little respite from the hurrying, maddening world. We'll stop into Patterson's 421 East Main in Burley and check out all the electronics needs, whether it's a home theater system, oh my goodness, pop the popcorn, or whether it is a car stereo and speaker to listen to the music as you're driving down the highway and byways, all the complete sound systems, all the TVs, everything for your enjoyment at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, and the telephone number to call these nice people, 678-6997. Patterson's in Burley. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yesterday, I made up a quick little list, and I encourage you, if you have an addition that you'd like to make on my list, of the platform goals of the Democrats leading into the 2020 election. And I omitted one that means possibly more to me than any of the other 10 that I mentioned yesterday. And I kind of slapped myself in the face this morning while I was shaving and saying, stupid, 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 why'd you forget that? The ones I mentioned yesterday that seem to be the Democrat platform goals for 2020 are voting rights for felons and terrorists, reparations paid to blacks, free college and debt forgiveness, the Green New Deal, lower the voting age to 16, anti-Second Amendment, no more guns, change and stack the Supreme Court in their favor, no more electoral college, no more private health insurance, one size fits all with the Democrats' Medicare program, legalization of pot and various drugs, and the one that I forgot to mention that absolutely should have been first, there are many that are advocating full-term abortion, killing, murdering of babies. I am an old man that had considered curtailing this program this year and retiring. And I wanted to spend a lot more time with my lovely bride and a lot more time for us to do what we want to do. But I have made the conviction, if you will, to stay on the air and fight tooth and nail the Democrats and their insidious, devious, and satanic ways leading up to 2020. And for those of you that were anxiously awaiting my departure, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. I'm glad you made that decision. You know, I have a lot of elderly friends. They say, well, all these things that are happening in this country won't affect me. That's pretty narrow-minded. I mean, most of us have children, grandchildren, maybe even great-grandchildren. You know, and so we got to be thinking about the future generations, what's coming. Do we want this country to be turned and transformed into a socialist, communist utopia where you have no rights, you're just a slave in the global plantation?
Yeah.
So keep up the fight, and but the Democratic agenda is unbelievable. There's nothing positive in their whole platform. If they have one, it's like saying murdering babies and taking away our rights and letting in all illegals they can to take our jobs, destroy our culture, and that's what's happening, as you well know.
Well, and I appreciate your comments, and it was nice to visit with you yesterday and the beautiful sunshine that we've had. But my decision was based upon the fact that it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort, and it's really been hard on Deanne for all the work she does to help me during the course of the day, and then all the coordination with all the people back in New York and Washington, D.C. that work and serve this program also to get the facts and the figures for us. But when I look at the platform, and I underline that word, and I look at it with a quizzical look on my face, how could you ever adhere to voting rights for illegals and felons and terrorists, or reparations to the tune of trillions of dollars to black families for 250 years ago, free college and debt forgiveness, the list goes on, Green New Deal, or full-term abortion? I absolutely want to stay here, fight here, and do all I can to run the Democratic car, the clown car, into the ditch.
Well, at the same time, build up those things that have made this country great, and you've been doing that. Our kids, our educational system is just absolutely rotten to the core. As I've said before, I have a friend that's a university professor, and he said these freshmen coming in, they're well-trained in socialism and radical environmentalism. Our local media will not let us even talk about the against man-caused global warming. Yeah. And yet without CO2, we don't eat and we don't have any oxygen to breathe. But I know you got health issues, and I appreciate you so much, and as a friend, as a great patriot, and you have just keep up the fight as long as you can, and I'm going to try to do the same.
Adrian, thank you. That's very nice. Very nice of you. Appreciate it. Caller number 2, I will be right there. I've quickly got to tell everybody, there's going to be a ripping big good auction tomorrow, the Henry Schutte auction, located in Eden, Idaho at 1568 East, 1100 South. From the Garden of Eden, go east on Frontage Road 4 miles to Eden Road, then south for a mile, then west on 1100 East. Look for the signs, boys. Bennett Boys Auction Service. It's the Henry Schutte auction tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and they're going to have tractors and trailers and farm equipment, irrigation items, lawn and garden items. It's going to be a big, big sale. Be sure and be there at 11 tomorrow. Then the Bennett Boys are also going to have another sale on Saturday at 10 o'clock Saturday morning in Gooding at 1890 Floral Avenue in Gooding. Wileen Whitfield Estate Auction. Look for the signs. And I'll tell you, they're going to have a lot of antiques, a lot of really neat antiques and collectibles and furniture and appliances and all kinds of things. Both these sales managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys sell them all. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. Your topic this morning leaves me in a complex and wondery as to how come and how can people who claim to be educated vote for people like that with that ilk that will eventually and inevitably ruin the great country that they live in? How could they knowingly do so and say that it's an educated vote? I mean, due to the fact that everything they're going to do, everything they want to do on the Democratic side is to tear down what we have.
Yeah.
And what we have now is less than what we had when you were my age or younger.
Oh, absolutely.
And every generation, something else we lose a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. Now they want the whole thing right now. How can people consciously vote for that? I can't wrap my mind around it because it doesn't make any sense.
Let me go one step further, and you said, how can people consciously vote for that type of idiocy and low morality? I'm going to say that if you call yourself a Christian, how in the world could anybody vote for this? Because we're talking about the killing of babies at full-term abortion. We're talking about legalization of drugs and products that would harm the human beings and their families. We're talking about Green New Deals that absolutely would kill our economy and hurt so many people. We're talking about reparations paid to families that we have no idea who they are if they qualify. We're talking about giving voting rights to felons and terrorists and killers and murderers. This is asinine and totally ridiculous.
They talk about the abortion bill on that. How many of the people in inner cities go and get an abortion and they complain that there's no one there? You know what I mean? There's lack of black people or lack of white people or whatever. It's because you're killing off your own people. What kind of insanity is that? I mean, come on. We don't need to import people. We could have enough.
Yeah.
If people would just quit killing their own kids, be responsible, do something for themselves once in a while, and take care of the mankind you have here, we don't need to have the influx of immigration.
Riley, I always appreciate your comments. You give it a lot of thought, and you're welcome here anytime. And I say to you, have a great weekend. God bless. Thank you so much.
You too, buddy.
All right, thank you. Caller, give me just a minute. I'll be right there, I promise. I've got one other good word, and then I'll give your call, and then I'll go to the weather. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox for a whole home comfort system. My goodness, they're offering up to $1,700 in rebates. Woo, on a new system. Get a hold of them today. Contact Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Terms and conditions apply. See the dealer for details. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Caller, you've been patient. Thank you very much.
This might be the nicest spring day so far. And I thought it might be a good day for us to get started retrofitting your house for the Green New Deal.
Hold on a second, Randy.
Solar panels and a spinner out there for you.
Hold on a second. Wheels, you got to ride the gain a little bit. I can hardly hear Randy, and make sure his volume's up on this. No, I don't want any solar panels. No, what did you say? A little spinner in my front yard?
Yeah, come on. And so, don't you want to get on with the program and, you know, we're going to hire all these people to retrofit every building in America, everyone.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, why don't you go get it?
Because nobody can afford to do it. I mean, you know, who's going to, these people that are building new homes right now, do you think they want to have the government come in and tell them how to change it so they can have it, you know, fit the ideal of what Ocasio-Cortez believes is right?
You know, you've given me a lot of incentive right now, my dear friend Randy. I have to go to Twin right after the program for some appointments. And after I'm done, I'm going to go to the party store that they have in Twin Falls, and I'm going to buy some of those little party spinners, and I'm going to put them out in my front yard, and I'm going to do my part to support the dim, democratic, and very stupid movement of green energy.
I tell you what, you say, you know, Riley just called, and I've never met Riley. I don't know him from nothing, but I'm pretty sure that's who that was. And my attitude is, yeah, how is it that people do this to their own country? I don't know. I don't know how they, right is wrong, black is white. People are delusional. I don't know, Zeb. I don't know what it is. They have lost sight of what is real. They don't care. But you see, right now, we have to save our country. And we have to save it from the people that are here next to us, driving down the road, who might be our friends, neighbors, you know, whatever. But I don't know how you get them to wise up. I don't know what it is you do, but I know you can't quit.
Well, I appreciate that, Randy, and I always look forward to your phone calls and comments, and thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine. Don't nail your thumb to the wall.
Hey, now one thing, I'll be over later with a quote on this retrofitting on your house, okay?
Okay, buddy, thank you.
Bye.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to go out and put a little spinner in my front yard, and I'm going to have a little sign that says my contribution to the stupidity of wind energy. Caller, okay, real quick, and then I'll go to the weather forecast. Go ahead.
Well, free is only free when someone else is paying the way.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that's what this country is right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. The word free, now think about that word free. You used to be in the car business, and there were certain advertisements and little hooks that are used in advertising. Free with the purchase of, or free whatever. And you know doggone well that the free item was covered in its cost in the actual cost of the other item that you purchased.
It has to be. Free is just not free. Somebody's got to pay.
Well, and the whole thing is with free education and free tuition and, of course, debt forgiveness. Yep, you're right. We're all going to pay.
Well, I've got a grandson that goes to CSI. He'll be graduating here on the 10th of May. He's been not on the honor roll, but he's been on the president's list.
Mm-hmm.
So he is highly sought after by other schools. And CSI is trying their best to do what's good for him, but also good for the school because he does a lot of tutoring. But he doesn't have any debt.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any debt either because I got up off my dead butt and went to work and held down 2 jobs and paid for my education, so I didn't have any debt either.
Yeah, but one way people can get so-called free education is through grants.
No, I agree.
Grants are, I don't know whether they're a good thing or a bad thing, but they helped a lot of people in, that were in poor circumstances.
Yeah.
But there again, it's just like the food stamp program that a lot of people are on it that are not deserving.
Amen. And Keith, I wish I had more time, but I got to get that weather in. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Go for it.
All right, sir. Hey, the weather forecast this hour brought to you by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And how many times have you been out to eat with somebody, or maybe you're at a ball game, or maybe just sitting in your living room, whatever? Huh? What did he say? What's that? When you're noticing some diminishment in your hearing, whoa, it can be really, really serious. And it may be health-related, high blood pressure, diabetes, or maybe it's some other very serious channeling or inkling that maybe your health isn't all that it should be. You better check it out. Call them today. Make an appointment, 312-0957. That number again for Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, 312-0957. The reason I stumbled a little bit is because I dropped the paper on the floor. There you go. Be sure and call them today for hearing screening. They can help and will help at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Looks like we're going to have a great weekend. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. For today, expecting mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to be around 71. Then for tonight, clouds moving in, maybe a slight chance of showers, expecting a low of 47. As we move into Friday, we will enter a high wind watch, looking for partly sunny skies, areas of blowing dust, and a high of 67. Then Friday night, mostly clear and windy with a low of 38. Then for Saturday, sunny skies, a high of 64. Saturday night, mostly clear and a low of 37. Then for Sunday, sunny and 61. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Have a great day.
Thank you, Scotty. Filling in for Gina this morning, and Scotty does a great job. Thank you, sir. And brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, serving you for the best of your hearing health. Make an appointment today, 312-0957. If you're following the news at all, the number that was put out yesterday about the mother of all caravans being maybe 10,000, that was spooky enough. But now, this morning, some of the so-called experts said, no, maybe not 10,000. Maybe 20,000. 20,000. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable that this is happening. This is unbelievable that we have a two-party system in this United States that are so naive, so stupid, and so inept that they can't sit down and figure out a way to protect you and I, the American citizens, and the sovereignty and the safety of our country. What in the world is the matter with these senators and congressmen? I lump everybody into the same cesspool, whether it's ours or Colorado, California, whatever. Why can't they solve this problem, stop this problem? I don't know about you, but I do not want the mother of all caravans of 20,000 people or more saying we're coming in and you can't stop us. That is a cost to you and me, our communities, our cities, our states, etc. We can't absorb this. It's got to stop now. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. One way to slow it down would be to take all those they have to release when they catch and release into the country, do as President Trump suggested. Let's start shipping them to San Francisco, and let's ship them to Chicago and New York, where they welcome these illegal aliens, where they're sanctuary cities, and let them deal with them.
No, Doug, you and I are best of friends, but I'm going to put my crutches in the sand and say, whoa, not going to go there. I don't want them here in this country. I don't want them taking any more of your money, my money, anybody's money. It was estimated 3 years ago in 2016, that the cost to the American taxpayers was $116 billion a year for illegal aliens coming into our country. Now, 3 years later, and we are 4 months into 2019, the estimated cost of illegals and what they cost us is well over $130 billion with a B dollars. I don't want them here.
Well, I don't want them here either. But I'm old enough to remember when somebody said in January, you reopen the government and we'll come to the table and deal with the border issue.
Yeah.
And all we're hearing is crickets from the Democrats.
If you even hear the crickets. I totally agree with you. I'm fed up with both parties. I'm fed up with the rhetoric that is spewed from both the Republican and the Democratic parties. Nothing is getting done. Now, here's the game plan. Next week on Tuesday, I have put in, and hopefully he'll follow through, an application to get Mike Crapo on my program next Tuesday at 9:06. I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm not going to be Mr. Nice Guy. I'm going to be polite, and I'm going to hold up the respect that he deserves. But I'm going to ask him why in the heck there can't be coalitions of parties of power back there to get this thing solved.
Exactly. And one thing, too, I would like to know who is financing this and where the money's going down to that Central America countries and getting these people together, who is taking care of their medical needs.
I think you know the answer.
Shelter and everything.
You know the answer to that. I don't have to tell you.
I know, but it needs to be exposed.
Absolutely. And I said yesterday, and I'm going to maintain this, and I got another call waiting, Doug. Look at the films. Look at the videos. Look at the editing of the newscast showing these people. Have you seen one dirty, absolutely looking like they've been haggard and drawn through a keyhole? No, they're all in clean clothes, all in brand new clothing, and they're marching to us.
Exactly, and you're on the road for how many days would it take to get down there? A month?
You ought to see me after I've been on the road for one day. I look terrible.
But yet you got clean clothes every day.
Yeah, unbelievable.
There's money behind this, and I would love to see somebody, somehow, some way to expose who it is and how they're doing it.
I got to run, buddy, but quickly tell us about the seniors, because I'm running late. I got 3 minutes left.
All righty. Everybody, let's do what we can for our seniors. Let's go eat lunch there one afternoon, one day at lunch. I mean, you will be enlightened.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you. God bless you, man. Thanks. Caller, I'll be right there. I'm running short on time. I got to get this in. Our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations with a big spring tire sale going on right now. You can save a lot of money and get the best of tires for your car, pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever, and drive confident and secure in the feeling that you've got the best of tires on your vehicle. Big spring tire sale going on right now. Check it out. And the brake service. Highly trained brake technicians, front-end alignments, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane in Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes, Mike in Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, real fast. I've got 45 seconds.
Zeb, I thought that Mexico and the United States were good friends, but evidently the Mexicans are clothing these people or letting them come through to get to the United States to help ruin it. I don't understand. Thank you.
All right, my friend Bob, that was very short and succinct, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and spot on, too. We're going to take a little run at the news from CBS right now. They're going to come in and wreck everything we put together, and we'll be back in approximately 7 minutes with my old buddy Wheels running the board and our guests. Don't go away. Oh, morning to you and your family, your business, your office, wherever you are. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, serving you with a great big spring tire sale going on. Get the best of tires, save money, stop in and see them today. And along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Oh my, we're going to go to our guest in just a moment. I want to remind everybody too about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Lennox Home Comfort Systems, and together they're offering up to $1,700 in rebates on a new system. Call about and ask about the low monthly payment financing options and Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 and Lennox. Teaming up for your home comfort systems, you call them today. Also, want to take the time right now to visit about a very, very nice business, nice people, and so caring and loving to you and your family. And that's, of course, Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. And it's really been proven so many times. They provide the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort, and always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Please contact them today, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary in Rupert. And Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Real quick, too, before we go any further, I want to remind you about our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Oh, my, are they having an event over there? They're just going in the warehouse, and they said, take it out, put it on sale. Yep, absolutely. Everything's got to go. Everything's got to get cleaned up. Holy smokes, you can save a lot of money at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Spring clearance event on flooring and on mattresses. And, oh, my goodness, you don't want to pass this up. Listen to this, like a Simmons Beauty Sleep mattress, queen size, $9.99 was that price. Not now, $3.99. You better stop in. Limited quantities. Be sure and save money at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line. And we have a gentleman that is standing there in typical accountant fashion with a pencil stuck in his shirt pocket, his white shirt sleeves rolled up, his necktie slightly askew, with a calculator in his pocket. Here is Lyden Crane with the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce report. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing good. Accountants don't stand up too much, Deb. We're usually sitting. That's way too much physical exercise for us.
How close was I on the pencil and the calculator and the shirt sleeves?
Oh, yeah, you nailed it. Right on.
Oh.
I can't argue with that.
Listen, man, you've done a really good job as coming on the air and being a spokesman for the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. And so now I'm just going to rear back in my chair and let you kind of take the reins and tell us what's going on.
Excellent. Well, I've got an announcement to make today, and I will save that for the very end after we talk about what's going on over at the Chamber. So just a little information drop there to keep everybody listening. But yesterday was our 2019 Women's Expo, and I want to thank everybody who came out to that and made that an event a great success. I stopped by there for a few minutes, and boy, there was a lot of great vendors and people there. We appreciate the speakers who came, and it was just, from what I've heard, it was a great event, and we look forward to having that happen next year as well.
Did you feel out of place over there at all, you being of the male gender in there with all those ladies?
You know, there was a few other gentlemen in the room who were doing some advertising, and so if I got too close to the booth that smelled really good, you know, that was kind of a deterrent. But everywhere else I felt pretty good, and I saw Amy Christopherson and a few of the other board members down there, and they made you feel really good. And I've got a good relationship with Diane Newman, who's the manager at the Best Western Inn, and helps so much with those events. And so I found friends, and when I find friends, I can feel pretty comfortable just about anywhere.
I tell you what, you're a good guy. Okay, that was a great Women's Expo. What else is cooking?
We've got the kind of spring Health and Safety Expo, which is going to be put on by Intermountain Cassia Regional Hospital, coming up on May 3rd, Friday, so that's next week, from 3 to 6 p.m. at their location there on Highland Avenue. And it's going to be a great chance to come in and get some things checked. They're going to have free vision and hearing screenings. They're going to be doing blood draws, also free screenings for diabetes and blood pressure. And they've also got a bunch of things for the kids. They're going to have a teddy bear clinic, which they're going to give away teddy bears while they have supplies and show the kids what happens when you come in for a checkup. And I've heard they're also going to have an obstacle course and a few other giveaways for the kids. So it should be a good time for all the family. You know, get in, get yourself checked out. I know after tax season, I feel like I need that every year. So going to do my best to get there and be part of that.
All right, and I know that we've got about 3 minutes left. What else is on the back burner this morning?
So this morning, Zeb, we are making an announcement that the Chamber has found and a position has been accepted for our director CEO position.
Okay.
For the first year, this is the first time we've announced it publicly. Penny Main has accepted the position with the Chamber, and will be starting in our executive position on May 1st. And I'm sure that you know her.
Mm-hmm.
And most recently, she comes from us from Town Square Media. She's had years of experience in the public doing advertising and public relations for multiple companies. I do not personally know her, but just looking at her resume and from what I have heard from others, she is more than qualified, and we are very excited to bring her on and have her help us continue forward with the mission of the Chamber.
All right. Now, when will she be taking over that office with all of the assistants and have the magic wand to change and do things?
I can see you're eager to get rid of me here, Zeb. No, I'm just kidding. But no, she will be coming on and starting on May 1st, which is in 6 days, and we're excited to have her on board. And you know, you might actually get somebody who knows what they're doing here on the radio to help you out.
No. I got to compliment you, Leyden. I mean, you jumped in and did a fantastic job. I did have quite a few people say, hey, boy, that Leyden Crane, he's very articulate and knows what's going on. So you did well, very well.
Yep. And she may need a couple weeks here to get her feet under her. I will continue to support her by taking these programs as long as she feels it necessary. But based on the history of what she has in radio, I have a strong feeling that she'll be more than eager to jump right in and take that over.
All right. Well, congratulations to Penny Main. Congratulations and thank yous to you and all that you've done. And, of course, now it's travel time, and a lot of people are coming through this area. Tell us how they can get a hold of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce for information.
They can get a hold of us, and, oh, man, I just forgot the phone number.
It's 679.
Let me pull that up. I had a brain freeze.
Can I help you? 679-4793. How does that sound?
That sounds good. And you can always stop in at the Chamber as well, which is down on the corner by the bridge in Hayburn, across from Gosner's, and I'm sure everybody knows right where that's at. Lorena and now Penny will be more than happy to help everybody out and get you the information that you need. We want everybody to be safe and also have a great time as you enjoy the outdoors.
Don't you just hate it when you have something right there at your fingertips? And I do it every day on this program. And I'll say, and now, and then you can't find it.
I do.
Okay. Well, listen.
I've written down here on my notes, and now I can't find it.
Listen, you have a wonderful day, and again, thank you for all you do. Sharpen your pencil and sit back and enjoy a wonderful day at your desk, my friend. God bless you. Lyden Crane, thanks.
Thanks, Zeb. You as well.
All right, thank you. Good guy. Really a good guy, Lyden Crane. I want to remind you, too, about our friends over at Let's Ride. Oh, get your motor running. Oh, get outside and enjoy the beauty of southern Idaho on a four-wheeler or a side-by-side. Well, the place to go to check out these would be absolutely Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Don't you forget they've got a showroom full of fun. Oh, my. I don't know how they got everything in there, along with all their accessories and a service department to keep you running. Enjoy. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Yep, it's true. This is where the fun is sold. Right now, we're going to have kind of a medium-sized Vicky's Country Garden. Yes, we're over at Vicky's Country Garden, Green Thumbs, Dirty Knees, and Vicky's Country Garden. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the lovely Miss Vicky. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. Sounds like you're feeling better.
Yeah, all that glitters is not gold. How are you?
Just fine on this nice spring morning without the wind so far.
You know, I don't mind a little bit of wind, but when it blows my resistol off, I'm not a good hat chaser.
You need to get your stampede strings on.
Are you kidding? In that wind, I'd look like the flying nun. It would have picked me up and carried me to Pocatello.
You could have had a parachute.
Hey, I know that there's a lot of things going on right now. The weather has got people outside. They're standing there with their shovels and their garden hose, and they're ready to go to work in the garden. What's going on?
Well, it is. It's getting to the point where it's a good time to be out getting the weeds are taking over. Weeds are out in full force. They loved all the rain and the cool weather and now the warm weather, and they just seem to, if we could grow everything as easy as we can weeds, we'd be all master gardeners.
Absolutely. But, you know, for the people that are just starting out and the people that really have never gardened before, or those old pros, what should they be doing right now with the temperatures kind of leveling off and staying around 65 degrees?
Well, the temperature's staying up around 65, but we've still had these cold nights. I mean, it was 32 at my house last night.
Oh, wow.
And so consequently, that doesn't bring that ground temperature up as fast. And we've talked about this before on a lot of things. Your seeds and stuff, your cold crops like cabbage and onions and lettuce and radishes and, you know, that type of thing, that and peas, those can all go in right now and do fine. But that ground temperature is still too cold to me to put tomatoes and peppers in. It just shocks them. They just don't do well. So give it a few days to get that temperature up. We've got to get these nights up a little warmer to hold that ground temperature up a little higher so that I know it's warm outside on top, but it's not that warm underneath that ground. And so that's really a very crucial thing on a lot of plants right now.
Let me ask you, is there...
Your berries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, all of that kind of stuff, those can all handle it. They love to get in the cool weather, your fruit trees, your shade trees, ornamental shrubs, that kind of thing. This is a good time to get that kind of thing in.
Okay. Now, is there therapy that can be given to a shocked pepper?
Not really. They usually just kind of sit there and lay down and die. People have been coming in wanting the cucumbers. Don't you have your cucumbers? I said, it's too cold. I don't want to tempt anybody.
Okay.
Cucumbers will damp off, and that means their roots chill, and they get too wet. That's too wet and too cold. The roots chill down, and they die right at the ground level.
Boy, that's true with a lot of us, especially our age. When our roots get cold, we die off real quick.
Yep, that's true. You just kind of have to look at it as life,
Oh, well, now listen, Mother's Day is around the corner, and what kind of great items have you got for Mom?
We have got all kinds of gift items in here. We've got arrangements. Of course, we have our big hanging baskets that are starting to go pretty fast. A lot of people are coming in and tagging the ones they want. If you're wanting 2 or 3 that match, you might want to get in and get your name on some, because the assortments are starting to dwindle a little bit. But we have a lot of really neat outdoor metal art that can go outside that really accentuates the yard, really cute. You don't have to water it. You don't have to worry about it freezing. It's kind of good stuff, really. It makes the yard look really cute. We have a lot of indoor stuff. We have fountains. We have about everything. And we also do a lot of gift certificates for Mother's Day.
That is an excellent idea. That's an excellent idea. What about trees and shrubs and all this kind of stuff? Anything we need to be doing or watchful for right now this time of the year?
Well, if you've got ornamental trees and that type of thing, it's time to get that systemic down on them so those borers don't get in and kill them. That's a real good way of keeping everything, your fruit, your shade trees and ornamental trees. You can use it on some fruit trees, not all, but it does definitely keep the tree healthy. It keeps the aphid, the whitefly, the leaf miners, all these kind of fun things, and the borers from getting into them, and it's a once-a-year application, and this is the time of year to get it down and get it going. It's a good time to get on these weeds with the weed-free zone. Get on your lawn, take care of those dandelions so the neighbors aren't yelling at you because you're infuriating them with their dandelion puffs that's going over on their yard.
Yeah.
Lots of things, a lot of the weeds are out, and so just remember, you have to spray when the wind's not blowing. It's kind of a trick nowadays, but if you get out early in the morning, usually you're good to go on it. So take care of the weeds, and hopefully your neighbor will be taking care of his too.
Let me ask you this, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this all the years we've done this little program segment. How many people really come into your business at Vicky's Country Gardens at 185 South, 600 West of Paul, and they walk in the door and they go, we have never gardened before. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to plant. We don't know how to plant or what tools we need. Has that ever happened?
Oh, yeah. We get that every probably 3 or 4 or 5 times a week.
Really?
New people coming in that have moved in here from possibly the cities, that they finally got into a kind of a rural area where they've got a little ground they can grow a garden, never grown a garden here, or people that are coming in from other areas that don't know what our climate is, and that's a big thing here of what will grow here. For instance, they've moved from Texas or someplace into here, and I mean, this is not Texas by any means.
No.
And we have to re-educate them on what will grow here, how to amend their soils, what to do. And that's not a problem, because we're more than glad to do that for anybody that is new in the area that's never grown in this area, because this is a tricky area. We have soil, we have alkali soil, we have hot winds, cold winds, temperature shifts, and that a lot of things don't do well in, and no sense in wasting your money on something that's not going to grow.
Well, and that's all in one day.
Yeah, that happens all in one day, yes, it does.
But, you know, this is really interesting to me that they'd come in and they'd ask those questions, and I'll bet you a lot of times during your conversation along with your staff, they probably kind of look at you out of the corner of their eye going, oh, I don't know if I can retain all this knowledge.
Well, and we try to keep it in simple terms to where people can understand it. I mean, yeah, you can go into all those big, long names, but most people just look at you like I don't have a clue what you're talking about. So I just try to put it down in normal terms to where people can understand it. And it's not really that hard. I have a lot of people that'll bring a notebook in and write down what we're telling them, you know, so that they know what to do when they go home. And they'll call us back and ask us. That's not a problem. That's why we have telephones.
Absolutely. Hey, one thing we didn't mention, this time of the year, a lot of people have had the winter doldrums and they don't like what they're seeing outside. They want to change things. What about new landscaping ideas or something to kind of invigorate the outside exterior of their home?
Well, that's always a fun thing. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of people have landscapes that have been there 15, 20 years. And a lot of times when they've been there that long, it's just really and truly best. You can't really come in with new little shrubs and not make them look funny and out of place. Sometimes you just have to take those old shrubs out and just kind of start over again. And there's a lot of shrubs and small ornamental trees and evergreens and things that do not overgrow, and you don't have to fight with them as much as the ones that we put in 20 years ago.
Okay, so if they have an idea or they need some ideas, you can sit down with them and help them on that, right?
Sure. A lot of people will take a picture of the area that they're doing and bring it in to me on their phone or something to that effect, and it gives me an idea as to where their windows are at, window wells, those kind of things, sidewalks. And then, you know, we can kind of work around that and be more than glad to give them some ideas on how to change things out and what'll work and what won't.
Absolutely. And, of course, now, I didn't know that you had graduated from college with a therapeutic license to treat shock peppers, but I learned something every week.
There you go. See? It's just one of those things you learn out of 30 years of experience.
There you go. Hey, quickly give us the Vicki Garden tip of the week.
Well, we've got a lot of wind coming the next day or two, so if you're going to get your gardens and stuff, if you're going to do any weed spraying, which everybody's out doing weed spraying right now, get it done early and do not spray in the wind, because not only will you damage things in your yard, you can damage your neighbor's yard or something to that effect. So be very careful with spraying for the next couple of days. Even though we've got nice temperatures and the weeds really need to be hit, be very, very careful with that.
Absolutely. And for any and all questions, give us the phone number and the location and the hours that you're open at Vicki's Country Garden.
Okay, well, now we are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Saturdays, we're going to be here from 10 to 5. And we are still closed on Sundays. We will be open in Sundays probably in May, somewhere along that line. And we are right on the Paul Burley Highway. You can't really miss us. And our phone number is 208-438-5663.
I tell you what, this is a wonderfully nice lady and so knowledgeable, and I appreciate the opportunity to have the segment called Green Thumbs, Dirty Knees, and Vicki's Country Garden. The lovely Miss Vicki, have a wonderful day, and please go sit down and talk to a pepper.
There you go. I will go give it some therapy here shortly.
Thanks, Vicki. I will. Thanks, Vicki.
Don't let the wind get to you.
God bless you. Have a good day. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I really enjoy her. She's one of the nicest ladies, and just really appreciate everything she does. Vicki at Vicki's Country Garden. Oh, by the way, don't forget our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, all of this and so much more. You know, you better make sure you're protected for your family and your business. You call them today and make an appointment. Number to call, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. They are waiting right now to serve you. Oh, boy. Let's see. What else have I got cooking here today? At 10:30 this morning, I want you to be aware that we are going to have Maria Espinoza. And she's out of Texas, and she really knows firsthand as to what's going on with the illegal alien migrant caravans that are headed their way here to the United States. And she's going to be on the air with us this morning. And it's going to be very, very interesting. Don't you miss it. Right now, we're going to go via the phone line right over to 2600 Overland Avenue. And that's, of course, for our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Here is the one, the only, the lovely Rita Ramsey. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm real good.
Well, you deserve it. Did you have a good Easter last weekend?
We did.
So did we. Family all got together and everything. Ours did. Do you have a great big family dinner or anything?
Well, because our kids live far away, we usually don't because we want to be home for Sunday. So we do something on Saturday and kind of have a picnic and usually a little Easter egg hunt for the kids and gather together. All of our kids live up in Rexburg, and so we had ball games and a play to go to that particular day. So we went up there for the day and got back and just celebrated on Sunday at church.
Let me ask you this, and Rita, I'm not going to weaken on this topic. I think this is absolute insanity of thinking that not 10,000, but maybe 20,000 or more illegal aliens are headed this way to our borders in what they call the mother of all caravans, to where they are going to be very pugnacious and say, we're coming in and you can't stop us. Why? I mean, where are the Mike Crapos and the Jim Rishes and the Congressman Mike Simpsons and all of their ilk? This problem has got to be settled.
I wish I knew where they were or why they weren't saying anything, but I can only guess that they're not saying anything because they don't want to lose any of their funding. This is a big deal to those who get lots of money into their coffers for re-election, and so it's like, well, if we just stay quiet and don't say anything, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
And we won't have to have somebody playing it back saying, I said this or I said that or the other, which would eliminate any funding that I've got or put somebody against me in a re-election campaign. The thing that needs to happen there, and I'm guessing, I don't know this, I would guess that Trump's got some kind of a plan to offset what's coming through or going to try to come through. But if I was him and they wouldn't let me I'd put 50,000 troops down there.
I agree.
And just say, okay, so in the places where they really can't come across and they might sneak across because it's really rough terrain, we're going to put some Black Hawk helicopters there, use electronics and stuff, and just, keep an eye on them and keep them from coming in, and everybody else is going to have to come in past our gunpoint. We're not letting them come in unless they go through the proper places and they have the right papers. And keep them from doing that because they are absolutely just bringing a lot of scourge, not to mention all of the trafficking and the drug stuff and all of that. If they're bringing kids and stuff in, I was having a conversation with a coworker yesterday about this. We've had a measles outbreak in this nation. New York's one of the top ones. Well, we got rid of measles 10, 15 years ago, so what happened? Well, somebody's been bringing them in.
Yeah. And I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the program yesterday, but I was very thankful to Representative Fred Wood coming on the program, a family physician and representative that talked about the measles and other diseases that are coming in. And I absolutely am going to be remaining adamant, Rita. I am going to be condemning any and all school systems for the laxity of letting non-immunized children in the school system as an endangerment to other families.
Well, I'm kind of opposed to the government saying you have to immunize your children, but I am in favor of the government saying if your children are going to come to public schools, they need to be immunized, and we've got to have proof of that.
Absolutely. We have a caller with
a... They don't have to, but if they're going to be in the public schools, they need to.
Absolutely. Caller, go ahead quickly. You're on the air.
You know, these illegals coming across the border is beyond a crisis. Yesterday I heard that 3,000 a day are coming in. Now, if you take 3,000 times 365, I guess it's 1 million. I don't know. I don't have a calculator in front of me, but that's unbelievable. And we can't, it's just like you say, it's destroying everything. You know, I mean, if one person dies or gets a disease because we have illegals here that have no understanding, they don't care about, you know, the culture of America and the safety of our society. You know, we don't want to hate our fellow man, but we've worked hard to make America great and safe. And it's just, we can't idly sit by and allow this to happen. 3,000 a day?
Yeah. This is absolute insanity.
It cannot be sustained. I'll hang up.
I agree with you, Randy. Thank you very much. Rita, I think he's 100% right. And earlier this morning, at 4:30 this morning, I heard a report on costs. Costs to the American taxpayer for illegal aliens to come here and be in this country. In 2016, the cost to the American taxpayer was $116 billion with a B dollars. Now, 3 years later, with the exorbitant numbers coming in and across the border, they're estimating the cost to us, the taxpayers, will be $130 billion plus. We've got better usage towards our own citizenry with that money instead of providing it to illegal aliens.
Well, you know, the first question that we have to ask ourselves is, okay, so when I get my paycheck on payday and I look at it and see how much money's been taken out of it, and then you do your taxes at the end of the year and they go, oh gosh, you haven't paid quite enough, so dump in, a bunch more and send us some more and da-da-da-da-da. And you're kind of thinking, first of all, they don't spend it in a prudent manner. And second of all, why are my taxes so high? And when you see what all of the taxpayers are getting hit for to take care of all of this stuff, do we really think it's not costing any money to put troops on the border or anybody to try to fend them off? Do we not think that it costs money when we dump them in sanctuary cities and they get federal money so that they can take care of those people? Do we not think that when they just migrate to areas and then they go to the local welfare offices and say, I need some help here, and we sign them up for food, and we sign them up for health care, and we sign them up for school, and we sign them up to get housing subsidies, and we sign them up for everything? Do we not think that's where our money out of our paychecks are going? And people can be removed from it and say, well, I don't have to pay anything for it, but in the end, every one of us, whether it's even just sales tax, all the way up to state and local taxes, property taxes, the whole bit. If we didn't have so many children that we had to have special classes for those who don't speak English to teach them, we probably wouldn't be needing additional rooms built for schools and so forth as well. So it hits you in every single angle of a tax that can be taxed.
I have advocated, and you're really going to think I'm a right-wing radical on this, but there's a reason behind this. I have really advocated since before Christmas of this last year that the American public, you, me, and everyone else that's an American taxpayer, we should have and organize a tax revolt, because the old adage, no taxation without equal representation, that's long been thrown in the grave and buried. I am sick and tired of having my money spent for a hamster on a treadmill study. I am sick and tired to have studies of millions and millions of dollars for the sex life of night crawlers. I am sick and tired to see that $130 billion a year would be going to people that are not citizens of this country.
Well, that's absolutely right, and that's why when Congress fixed it so that we had to have, it was mandatory for deductions out of your paycheck. And, there's some people that say, well, I just want to pay at the end. Well, those are the type of people who usually don't have very much that they have to pay, because you end up with big fines if you do end up paying. I think it was Ronald Reagan who suggested that, if people only had to write one check a year for their taxes instead of some coming out of every paycheck during the year, they would absolutely revolt and say, I am not paying that kind of money. You can just forget it. And there would be a tax revolt. But because they take a little bit every single week or every single paycheck out of your what you're getting, out of your earnings, people don't notice it because they learn to get by without it, and they don't realize it. And then they have the audacity to say, oh, no, I didn't have to pay anything. I'm getting a refund. It's kind of like, you know what? You paid all year, and you're just getting a little bit of it back. You didn't get by without paying anything. But they look at it as, I never got it in the first place.
Absolutely. I want to back up just a little bit, take a couple of steps backwards here in our conversation. And I want to mention something to you that I mentioned to Dr. Fred Wood, Representative Fred Wood, yesterday. My concern about a lack of immunizations and a good immunization program in this country is a lot of the seniors, and I've done some research on this and some study, and being a polio victim of the early 50s, the reason I did this study is because a lot of the vaccines had not yet been perfected back in those days. And those that were lucky enough to get vaccines and immunizations, I have heard and read stories by doctors and physicians that said if you had immunizations before 1957, many of which may not be in effect today, and they might have worn off. So by not having immunization programs and illegal aliens and others not getting the shots, I wonder about our senior citizens and our elderly, how safe they really are.
Well, that's exactly right, and it's a lot of the elderly that these things will sneak up on them without them really realizing it. It needs to be done. It's extremely important. My mom was hospitalized just about 40 hours ago into the hospital with double pneumonia, and my sister called me and was talking to me, and she said, Mom didn't even have a flu shot or a pneumonia shot or anything. I mean, she's 85 and she's been a picture of health, and so I guess when it was time for her shots, it was kind of like, well, I guess I don't really need that. Now here she is in the hospital, with double pneumonia, and this could have gone past her. And so to senior citizens who don't get those shots or keep up on them, you need to make sure that you are keeping up on them. And it's imperative that people keep up on their shots, even if it's just the flu and the pneumonia.
Yes.
But you get some of these diseases, and it's going to start running rampant. Well, it already is. We know that with measles and some of this other stuff that's going around. But we thought that we had all of these things eradicated, and now they're starting to come across the borders. We've got tuberculosis, we've got measles, we've got some polio things coming across, we've got a number of things that the little snowflakes haven't even heard of.
That's right.
And so we definitely need to keep an eye on it, because there is going to be an outbreak. And then you've got the people who said, you know what, I don't want to have my children immunized for whatever reason. And then they are the ones that are going to be at risk.
Yep.
And it's just going to not quit. I mean, you don't get rid of it after it all comes in and starts spreading. It's like now we have to bat it down. It's like a wildfire, and see if we can finally put it out to where it will stay out.
Absolutely.
It's going to be there, and the very old and the very young are going to be the ones that end up losing their lives over it, and it's going to be a horrible thing, because we did have it eradicated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Very well said. Rita, I'm going to do a weather forecast, and then I've got to come back and talk to you about your favorite uncle. Stand by. Don't forget our weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, and they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. They are the professionals serving you, your business, and your family. Tax return preparation, tax planning, financial statement preparation, retirement planning, all of this and so much more by people that are extremely professional and knowledgeable in their field. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's old Scotty with the weather.
Looks like we're going to have a great weekend. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. For today, expecting mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to be around 71. Then for tonight, clouds moving in, maybe a slight chance of showers, expecting a low of 47. As we move into Friday, we will enter a high wind watch, looking for partly sunny skies, areas of blowing dust, and a high of 67. Then Friday night, mostly clear and windy with a low of 38. Then for Saturday, sunny skies, a high of 64. Saturday night, mostly clear and a low of 37. Then for Sunday, sunny and 61. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Have a great day.
I'll tell you what, work with the best of people in accounting and helping you, your business, and your family. And that's Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And all you have to do is just stop in or give them a call. Burley and Rupert, locations for the professionals, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Rita, Uncle Joe decided to run, and now he is number 20 on the list of clowns piling into the clown car of the Democratic Party. What are your thoughts?
Well, it seems kind of weird that crazy Uncle Joe's been running for president since 1986. And he has got a lot to hide. There's a lot of corruption with him, involved with him and his families, with those people who surrounded him. I would think if I were him, it's kind of like, you know what, I'm in my mid-70s. I don't really need to be doing this. And besides the fact that just on the off chance that there is an investigation, who's going to be in big trouble over this?
Mm-hmm.
And just stay away from it. Leave it alone. I mean, he's got a lot of the people out there on the left saying, oh, you know, he's a touchy-feely guy. He put his arm around me, kind of put his head into my hair and smelled it, and, you know, any of that kind of stuff. There hasn't been anything that was inappropriate as far as, like, really bad. I mean, it's inappropriate for you to get in somebody else's space without their permission, but, you know, some people are just huggers, and I guess that's what he is. I don't know.
Well,
but he's got a lot of other stuff going with him that he needs to be watching for, and one of them is his son and the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yes.
And the deal with going over with his, taking his son and John Kerry's son and getting them hooked up with the Bank of China and getting $1 billion to invest into their things, and then where that money went, and a lot of that money went into military secrets and manufacturing things and funneled back through to the Chinese. I wonder how that happened. And some of those things, there needs to be questions answered, and for him to have that much stuff hanging out there, or maybe he just doesn't think that any of that's against the rules or anything, but he's taken a big chance on causing a lot of issues with his family. If they start investigating and stuff, his son could essentially go to prison.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I don't think I've ever seen any member of the political scene stick his size 11 shoe in his mouth as much as he has. All of his flubs and everything else. But he's also a liar. Do you remember, Rita, it wasn't that long ago that old Joe, they found out that he had plagiarized quite a few different speeches and incorporated the verbiage and some of the poignant lines into his and claimed that he had written those speeches. He's a liar and a fraud.
Well, he is, and that's the part that's really sad about it, is that man, if they went in and found just one little tiny thing, and, you know, they're still hunting for Trump's one little thing that they can go after him with.
Yeah.
But if they could just find just one little thing with the Republican, boy, they'd just put him out to, you know, hang him out to dry and put him out to pasture and say, hey, you can't do this, and if you keep doing this, we're going to just keep after it. And finally they just drop out and say, this just isn't worth the hassle, and they go on and go forward. Well, with the Democrats, it's totally different because he's got a whole lifetime involved in this. You know, some of the things that he's lied about or hasn't given any truth about what really happened or anything or even some of the little things, you know. He says, well, you know, I'm a blue-collar worker, and I remember taking my lunchbox to work, and it's like, when he got out of school, he went to work right immediately for the government, and he's been working for the government ever since.
That's
and
right.
He never worked a blue-collar job or took his lunch bucket to work.
That's exactly right. Hey, did you see this morning early, Rita, before you went to the office, did you see the introduction video of him throwing his hat in the ring? Did you see the portions that they showed on TV?
I did not.
Oh, I tell you, I did. I saw approximately 1 minute and 30 seconds of the 4-minute introducing Joe as a nominee video. And honestly, if you get a chance to see it tonight or whenever, call me and tell me that it was disgusting. It was very dark. It was very negative, and they took nothing but cheap shots at Donald Trump and enhanced the Ku Klux Klan and Nazi flags around Trump. It was nothing but a smear campaign instead of an introductory video saying, hi, I'm Joe Biden and I'm running for president. It was really dark and sinister.
Well, that's the only way that they feel like they can get any traction is to put down the president. The thing that they're kind of forgetting is they really ought to be warring with each other and against each other because there will be one of them, and then they can come out. But if everybody just comes out against the president, it's kind of like, well, you know, you may not even be the one that's there. The other part that's really sad about it is I did read an article that said, you know, I've had heads of state and people, you know, leaders all over the world calling me and saying, you know what, you need to run as president so that you can save America from Donald Trump. And it's kind of like, oh, yeah. How long has it been since we had a president that we had to worry about being saved from, like Donald Trump? I mean, Donald Trump's the only one who's been saving us, actually.
Well, and you know, what can you do if you're a Democrat, a strategist like Tom Perez, head of the Democratic National Party? How can you sit there and declare that you, as a Democrat, are going to offer much better as far as the economy is concerned than what's going on with the growth factors right now? How are you going to argue against that?
Well, this is how you do, and this is exactly what Joe Biden said. He said, I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president, and all he embraces is an abhorrent moment in time.
Yeah.
But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation. We can't stand by and let that happen. In other words, we can't let freedom and liberty and tyranny down the tubes, we can't let any of that go forward. We've got to make sure that we're the ones in charge. We make slaves out of the people who we figure are the lower class or those with skin color that aren't ours. They're all the ones who are racist, and they are the ones who really are always looking at somebody else saying, you're racist, but they're actually the ones. And when you start looking at history and find out who the Democrats really were, who the ones were against the civil rights movement, against slavery and all of that, it was not the Democrats. The Democrats were the ones who wanted it. And so they're just saying, hey, if we have a president in there right now who's offering lower taxes and freedom and liberty and that type of thing, man, we just can't let that happen.
Well, the platform, next week I'd like to go over some of the 11 very sinister headlines of the platform for the Democratic Party, and there's not one. There's not one that I want my family and my grandchildren exposed to. I'm running out of time, and I want to give you an opportunity. Anything that you need to mention this week?
No, I just would like to echo, I can't even remember who it was that called in and was talking about, you know, a lot of people, that older people are saying, well, you know, I'm not going to have to worry about that. I'm getting old and I don't need to worry. Well, it is their posterity, their children and everything else. And then I don't know how many people noticed it and how announced it was yesterday, but it was reminding us that Medicare has less than 7 years and it's not solvent. Yep. And that will affect senior citizens right soon. So people need to get involved and start calling and emailing their legislative people, their congressmen, their senators, and start making a big deal about some of this stuff, or we're going to be sunk.
Absolutely. Rita, thank you so much for sharing with us again on this Thursday, and we'll look forward to next week. God bless. Thank you.
Hey, bye.
Thank you very much. Nice lady right there. Rita Ramsey, I appreciate her. Oh, I tell you, I am, this morning more so than other Thursdays, hungry and starving to death. Oh, I've got a lot of visions of great meals running through my head. And let's start, first of all, with the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, right now, I would like nothing better than to sink my grinners into a great big Farmer Brown burger with the fries and the special sauce and maybe a mint Oreo shake. Oh, that sounds so good. Check it out today. The AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Everything on their menu lineup is absolutely fantastic. Let's move on over to Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley. Oh my goodness, all your friends get there early in the morning to have coffee. You better be there too. And then along with that coffee, have a breakfast burrito, scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomato sauce on a tortilla shell. Knock your boots off delicious. All of this and more at Taco Bandito on Overland in Burley. We're moving over down to not one but two locations of Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. And after 3 p.m. in the afternoon, they got a fish combination sandwich. Just $5.99. You'd better check it out today. And oh, don't forget two great menu choices. But then serving you are great people, really nice people at both locations of Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. Absolutely. They're scheduling to open up the patio after the 1st of May outside with the music and the great food and everything. Oh, don't miss it. And they've got cupcakes on the menu now, different flavors every week. And, of course, they got the delicious buffalo burgers. What are you waiting for? Get on over to Steve-O's in Hayburn. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. And I'm drooling. I'm starved. We're going to come back next hour with the Cache County School Days Business Salute and then Maria Espinoza. And right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels. We'll be back in 7. Oh, good morning. Hour number 3 on a Thursday already, April 25th. Holy smokes. Time flies when you're having fun. I guess we're enjoying a lot of it. Brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley. Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale. Stop in and see them today. And don't forget some of our great advertisers, as I nearly choked to death on my cough drop, and they are Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to have our next guest on the program momentarily. Excuse me, I want to remind you, too, about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox Home Comfort Systems. And they're teamed up to offer up to $1,700 in rebates on a new system. All you have to do is just call Ramsey Heating and Electric and find out more, 678-0459, or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Terms and conditions apply. See the dealer for details. Ramsey Heating and Electric, absolutely, on Overland in Burley. Want to remind you, too, and I just really enjoy these people. They're so nice and they're so helpful because this next group that I'm going to talk about, they do a job that you and I don't want to do, and that's septic tank pumping and, of course, water and sewer lines installed or cleaned, liquid waste removal. Who am I talking about? Dino's Septic Service. Absolutely. They've expanded their business to better serve more people in this area, and all you need to do to have them work for you is call 436-6526. That number again, 436-6526, and also 678-17 1638. Fast fare friendly service with the big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino's Septic Service. You get a hold of them today. We're going to be going to our friends over at Cache County School Days in just a moment, and I want to remind you that we're very, very blessed to have as the main sponsor, and has been for a long, long time, A Child's World, and that's at 1308 Oberlin in Burley. You know, you go on in and get today, like, great day to go in there to A Child's World, because it's kind of the springy feeling, you know, sunshine, blue skies, spring is in the air. They've got all the clothes in there, and they've got all the games and the puzzles and the toys, and they got the baby furniture and everything. You better get in there, and the Cherokee scrubs everything at A Child's World. 1308 Overland in Burley. They are waiting, excuse me, right now to serve you. And with a frog in my throat, I go to the phone line and I say good morning to the Cache County Schools Communications Officer, Debbie Critchfield. How are you?
I am doing well. I think the pollen and the spring in the air is putting a frog in everybody's throat.
You know, let me ask you something. When you were overseas, what were the climatic conditions that you faced overseas? Was it comparable to here in the springtime, or what did you find?
I would say it was very comparable to here. Having said that, I think that they just were kind of going into, well, it was a little bit colder. I think it was probably the 30s. But folks were glad to get out of the sub-zero temperatures, and I don't blame them.
Oh, I don't either. You, as the communications officer for Cache County Schools, you've got something called a parent engagement survey. What in the world does that mean?
Several years ago, in fact, I want to say 3 years ago, when Idaho had to rewrite its state consolidated plan, which is the plan of how the state's going to move student achievement forward, there's a section in that calls for accountability, school accountability. And one of the indicators of success and one of the measures that was inserted into the accountability plan for the state was directing every school district in the state to conduct a parent engagement survey and then post those results. And the state's going to help out as far as the administration of the survey and putting it on a school report card, the state school report card. However, every school, so really this is applicable across the board, not just in CAJA, but we're certainly encouraging our CAJA parents to do it, that there's a link provided on our website. We're asking parents of students to go on and take a survey. As a parent myself, I took the survey. It took maybe 2 minutes, and it's intended to gauge a parent's satisfaction with the culture and climate of what's going on at their child's school.
Mm-hmm. So can you give us kind of a gist of some of the questions that are asked, or maybe is there an open line comment as to where they could possibly make their own suggestions?
They're both. As an example of a question, it asks about communication. Does a parent feel that the communication lines, that there's been contact made from the school to the parent? Does the parent feel as though the student needs have been supported at that local school? And as you pointed out, there is a section where you can leave comment or feedback on how you feel that the experience that your student is having helps them to accomplish, or for the schools to help your student accomplish the goals that they have.
Mm-hmm. Do they, when they take the survey, do they have to sign these and identify who they are?
No, it's anonymous, it's confidential, and so the initial link, there's specific links for each school district, and once you click that, there's a drop-down, and you can select the school that your child attends. And they're asking, and the state and, of course, our district is asking parents to take the survey more than once for each school that your child attends. And once that information is recorded in, the technology universe, all of the information is gathered in the aggregate by the state, and they send that right back to the school. there isn't anything that the state does with that information. The ultimate result and the data is left or is given back to the schools so that they can then have the opportunity to make adjustments, make additions. What's something that we're doing well? Where is an area that we can improve?
I see. Debbie, what are the ultimate goals of this engagement survey? I know you've touched on it and everything, but I mean, is it to draw a closer line of communication with the parents? Is it to establish a line of rapport so that they understand what the education community is trying to do for their children? I mean, what's the ultimate goal?
What you've addressed is part of it for sure. If I'm going to simplify it, it's essentially a customer satisfaction survey. How well is your school doing to serve needs of your student? We know that academic environment is important, and we want students to achieve. Part of overall success and highly successful schools are also good at their culture and climate. What's that environment? Are we creating an environment within the school that helps your child to flourish in many ways? Do parents feel as though they're welcome in the schools? Do parents feel that they are a partner in the educational process? And we know, again, looking at very successful schools, that it takes both of those aspects. The school needs to do their part. The parent needs to also be supportive. And frankly, the student. There's a three-prong approach in that sense. I'm giving you a really long answer to your question, but in order to help the schools identify areas that they need to improve so that they can help that child, getting feedback from the parent is very critical.
Yeah. One of the things, I'm going to be very blunt and say this, that with the school bond elections and everything else, there are the pros and the cons, and there are those in the middle that really don't show up. They don't say anything. They don't get involved. They don't go vote or whatever. In this day and age, and I know I'm an advocate of getting involved and saying and doing things, but people have got to get involved and let their opinions be heard and try to make things better. I mean, sitting back on the grass and just holding the fishing rod saying, oh, well, the water's running down, don't worry about it. It'll feed itself, I guess. But you can't have that attitude today.
I agree, and it is easy to criticize and not be a part of the solution. And so, for me, I think one of the aspects of my job, I get complaints a lot. This wasn't right, or somebody didn't like this, or whatever, and that is great. We like to hear ways that we can be better. But the other side of that coin is bring suggestions and bring solutions. How can we help you feel better about
Absolutely.
And the survey, although it's not the answer to all of those things, it is an element of help us help you. What are your suggestions? What are your solutions? How could the schools help satisfy some of your needs better?
And I'll go back to an old story that I've used on my program many, many times, Debbie, and I think you'll agree with me and concur with the next end of the story. That I remember a couple of years ago, a guy called me on the air, and he was just adamant. He said, why don't you call so-and-so? And why don't you take care of getting so-and-so? And why don't you do this? And I stopped in the middle of his sentences, and I said, wait a minute. What about your involvement? What about you calling so-and-so? What about you showing the need and the urgency of this problem to try to help it yourself instead of always palming it off on somebody else? And quite frankly, that's also good for the school districts. It's too easy for people to sit back and criticize without creating some feedback with the school personally.
Absolutely, and it is always easier to critique something than to create something.
Yes.
And so this is, again, that opportunity. And I will mention that Cassia Schools did not design this survey. It's the same survey statewide. It was developed by a group of people through our State Department of Education and our State Board of Education, and it took about, I would say a good 6 to 8 months of vetting all types of questions. What is it? And we worked backwards a little bit in the sense of what's the outcome that we would like to have? What would schools find most valuable in their decision making? And then what questions get us there? So there aren't any questions about a particular administrator or a school bond or pet issues, so to speak, for CAJA, but this is a general look at how schools can do a better job to support a positive culture and climate. What do parents think? Help us understand what you think is important.
Absolutely. In regards to these engagement surveys, is there a time frame to work with that they have to be done and turned in, or is it just an ongoing survey?
The survey link is live until May 17th, and I will go out on a limb and say that if you're Minidoka, I bet you could go onto their website because that's where CAJA has theirs. We're also sending links to parents. We've got parent emails sending that out, and so we're actively pursuing that interest. We want people to do it. We're not saying, oh boy, here's this sort of customer satisfaction survey. We hope only one or two parents take it. Absolutely not. We want every parent to take it for every school.
Okay. In the time remaining, I've got about a minute left. Is there any other tidbits of information you want to put out right now today on behalf of the Cassia County Schools?
We have put out our graduation dates. Of course, they've been on the calendar, but we're really getting that information out into the community. Our first graduation starts May 20th. We go the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd. And it's a little mind-blowing that we're wrapping up another school year. I don't know about you, but somebody is pedaling that time or that clock in the universe a lot faster.
Oh, I'll tell you what, when you get to be my age, my dear lady, it looks like we're on a skateboard headed downhill fast. Debbie, I really appreciate.
Here we are.
I appreciate everything you do, and you've really done an outstanding job as the Cassia County Schools Communications Officer. I keep bragging on you, but it's worthwhile because you've put this program together for me. And how many years have we been doing this, by the way?
We're finishing up, school year-wise, 5. This is our 5th year.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Well, listen, thank you again for all you do. I really appreciate it. And by the way, if they have questions regarding the survey, etc., is there a number they can call?
878-6600, and ask for me, and I'm happy to help people.
All right. Debbie Critchfield, thank you so much. God bless. Enjoy the day. Thank you.
You too. Thanks so much.
All right. Wonderful lady right there on Cassia County School Days, brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Oberlin and Burley. And they've got all the clothing, and they've got all the games, puzzles, and toys, everything for you and the family. It is a family store. Stop in and see them today. A Child's World, 1308 Oberlin in Burley. Real quick, before we go to our next guest, I want to remind you the Bennett Boys Auction Service, they're going to have a couple of ripping good sales coming up tomorrow and Saturday. You don't want to miss them, and I'll tell you where they're at. First of all, the one tomorrow on Friday will start at 11 o'clock at the Henry Schutte Farm, located in Eden, Idaho at 1568 East, 1100 South. Watch for the signs. Watch for the Bennett Boys Auction signs. They'll get you there. They've got tractors and balers and farm equipment, irrigation needs, shop equipment, tools, everything. Henry Schutte, I know that man for a long time. Big auction tomorrow at 11 o'clock over in Eden, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Then on Saturday, they're going to have another one over in Gooding, and it's going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be at 1890 Floral Avenue in Gooding, Wileen Whitfield Estate Auction. And oh my goodness, look for the signs again. They're going to have all kinds of really neat antiques and collectibles and appliances and furniture and household items. You name it, it's there. Managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, yep, they sell them all. Right now, we're going to go back to the phone line, and there is a gentleman on the other end of that line that absolutely, I've known him and his business for a long time, and they are excellent. We're going to be talking to Don Scarrow of Scarrow's Meats. Don, good morning to you. How are you?
Doing great, Zeb. How about yourself?
Well, if I was any better, the wrong fat man be wearing my clothes. What's going on in the world of meats?
Oh, we're we're just having fun over here. All my boys just got back from Kansas City, Missouri at Ultra Source Academy. Sent them back there to learn a little bit more about meat science and how to make things bigger and better and juicier and more tender, and we can bring it back here and share it with the people in Idaho.
Well, now tell us about that academy. I've never heard of anything like that. What basically do they teach, and how do they teach it?
Well, we actually every year, every other year, they put on these academies throughout the year. But I send my guys either annually or biannually, and they go back there and actually go into a meat kitchen, and they have meat scientists on staff that come in for 1 week, and we make salamis and jerkies and hams and bacons and marinated kebabs and marinated chicken breasts and anything that you can imagine meat. They actually make it and teach my guys the food science behind it. What makes it more tender? What makes it more juicy? What can we do to enhance it, to make it more ready for the housewife to just throw on the grill and be good to go? Food safety, all kinds of things like that, so everything is done completely right so that it's perfect for the customer, ready for the grill, and away we go.
Let me ask you something, Don. You and I have known each other for a long time, and you've been a very appreciated sponsor on this program. But when you talk about food safety and food preservation, are there new innovative ideas happening all the time?
Yes. What they're doing more is less invasive type stuff. Like one thing that we do here that most of the people haven't heard of, all the big USDA plants use lactic acid that they spray the cattle with. Well, lactic acid to me sounds pretty harsh. So what we've done a little bit with the meat scientists, we've gone in to check to see what we can do to be less invasive and less aggressive. And so we use citric acid, which is nothing other than just fruit juices, and from citric, and spray our carcasses right after we go through the kill floor to kill all of our bacteria and all of your antimicrobials that you don't want on the carcass, which makes it it lowers your pH factor, it lowers your water activity, and makes that beef more tender, makes your ground beef much better. And just through this type of new technology they're coming up with, we're able to give a better, safer product for our customers.
You know, Don, I tell everybody every day that if they want to look at the complete list of all the delicious meats that you provide at Scarrows Meats, they can go to your website, scarrowsmeats.com. But really, how many diversified types of meats and cuts and everything? How do you keep up with everything every day?
I don't sleep at night. I should weigh 800 pounds for everything that I eat and what I try and sample and my little ideas that come into my head, but I'm too nervous, so I still only weigh 148 pounds. But we have, I try to develop at least one or two new items a month.
Wow.
But it takes us a month to get everything just to where I go, wow, now we've got it. I mean, we've got a ranch salad dressing flavored buckboard bacon.
Ooh.
It took me almost a year to get it perfected, but now it is knock your socks off. We got another one. We just got it perfected, a peppered buckboard bacon that is finally, wow, it's there. We're just now starting marinating kebabs. The guys came back. We got some new recipes, some new ideas, and for the last about 4 or 5 weeks, we marinate kebabs every other day. Beef kebabs, chicken kebabs, pork kebabs, and we throw them on the grill. The customers are coming through. We're giving out samples. Everybody tells us what they think. We tweak, we change, and we're just about got 4 or 5 different flavors of kebabs that are ready to go. So we got a new batch coming out today. We think these ones are it. So we're going to find out this afternoon. We're going to throw some on the grill and see how it goes.
You know, Don, I would imagine that at this time of the year, going in towards the 1st of May, and then Memorial Day's not that far away, and then July 4th, etc., that you really are busy with people that are ordering meats for special occasion. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep. People just call in, tell us kind of they got a special occasion. Graduation's big right now. We're doing lots of marinated tri-tips, lots of pre-marinated briskets, things like that. Getting pulled pork ready for them for the graduation parties and things like that. They just call us up, tell us what they want. If it's a pretty big order, we have it all ready for them the day they want it. They come by, pick it up. Some of them have us even cook it for them. They come by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, pick it up, take it, and serve it, and away they go.
Wow.
Really, really well.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I goofed at this morning is by not having you or demanding that you come by the studio so you could bring some of your delicious bratwurst with you.
I mentioned that to Deanne. I said, I need to come over and get live right in the studio so I can bring Zeb some good food.
I'll guarantee you I'd welcome you anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, they've got a tagline that absolutely is perfect for Scarro's Meats at 331 North Road, Jerome. It's called Changing the Way We Eat One Delicious Bite at a Time. And Don Scarrow, the head man over there. Don, any final thoughts before I let you go?
Oh, just come by and check out our little retail area. We've got where it gets getting bigger and better day by day. We come up with new items, and we've got 3 or 4 different flavors of hot dogs that we make right here in the plant for the customers, not just a plain beef or a plain pork or whatever. We got jalapeno cheddar. We got all kinds of different flavors of hot dogs. We got about 25 flavors of fresh and smoked bratwurst. We got 5 different flavors of bacon. We just developed a new one last fall called Scarrow Blend Breakfast Sausage. It's got 25% added bacon ground into it. It's phenomenal. I've got some pork spare ribs that we marinated that are just knock your socks off. Absolutely the best ribs I've ever had. So come on by and check out the little retail area and have some fun.
I'll tell you what, you are not going to do this on the phone the next time. You're coming here live in the studio. Don Scarrow at Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. God bless you, man. Thanks so much for being on the show.
You too, Zeb. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
I will, sir. Thank you. Known that family and Don for a long time, and believe me, they are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time at Scarrow's Meats. Good. Now I'm really drooling. Hey, let's send it over to Wheels. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb back.
I'll tell you what, I want you to remember Ramsey Heating and Electric and also Lennox Home Comfort Systems. They've teamed up and they're offering up to $1,700 in rebates on new home comfort systems. Find out more. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Terms and conditions apply. See the dealer for details. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. This lady that I'm about ready to introduce absolutely is so sincere and so knowledgeable about what really is going on with the infiltration and invasion of our borders. And she is the national director of the Remembrance Project, which honors and remembers Americans and legal residents who have been killed by illegal aliens. And I have the highest respect for Maria Espinoza. Good morning, Maria. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing great, and thank you for those such nice words. That's very nice of you.
Well, it's very sincere because, Maria, without people like you and without your organizations, I just shudder to think where we would be in a much worse off situation. But all that being said, it's still not good because I'm hearing about the mother of all caravans, if you will. Not 10,000 like they had said previously, but it might be 20,000 or more that are going to come up and pugnaciously poke us in the chest and say, we're coming into your country and you can't stop us. What about this?
Exactly, and we've known about this mother of all caravans coming up for I guess a couple weeks now. And you're right, the estimated number of members in that caravan is 20,000. You're hearing 6,000, then they jumped up to 10,000. But as you know, as they get closer to our border, they increase their membership. But President Trump is sending the military to the border. How that will look, no one knows. But we are certainly in a national emergency mode and have been for some time now. But as you know, Zeb, President Trump is being blocked and resisted at every turn he makes to try and secure this country. The Democrats are right there. The far-left socialists have basically hijacked the Democrat Party, and it's unrecognizable to like me, I'm a former Democrat. I don't even recognize that Democrat Party for years now, of course. But all we need to do is continue to make those calls, and while at the same time we have to be speaking to people, because politics is local, and we have to recruit. We have to identify those good candidates for the upcoming election. So that's incumbent upon us. I think President Trump is doing all he can from where he is and with what he has to work with.
Let me ask you this. Now, Tuesday of next week, I'm going to have one of our national senators, Idaho Mike Crapo, on my program. And I know Mike really well. But it's no more Mr. Nice Guy, because I'm taking the gloves off and saying, wait a minute, Mike, why haven't you developed sources of power and incorporated other senators to demand, slam your boot down on the desk, whatever it takes, that something get done on the border? I hear a lot of lip service, but I'm not seeing any net result. Am I wrong?
You're absolutely correct. That's what we have to do. We saw the failed leadership of the GOP in the last 2 years, led by former Speaker Paul Ryan. They had no intention, Deb, to support this president. And Paul Ryan held true to his promise of never to support this president. And you see the result, and I think people are tired of it. On both sides of the aisle, they took an oath. We have a Constitution that is the supreme law of the land, and they are not abiding by their own oaths of office and by our U.S. Constitution. We must hold them accountable, however that might look. Slamming your fist on the desk, calling them out, not getting them 1 inch to wiggle out of when they have town halls. Continue calling their D.C. office and every district office that they might have as well. But that also goes true with your state officials. Because they can do a lot. I mean, we're battling the same thing now that I'm back in Texas. We're focusing on Texas and monitoring what's going on here. Certainly our legislators can do much more. But, a lot of it is political theatrics, and we're not standing for it. We're talking about lives lost. We're talking about jobs, our economy, our education, our children having to be held back, teachers not being able to teach properly because you have some of these people who do not speak English, who have not assimilated, who shouldn't even be here. So there's a lot that has to be done. But in my opinion, for the 10 years that we've been around, Zeb, thank God that Donald Trump entered the race for the presidency. Otherwise, this issue would still be ignored.
Yeah.
And yet we still have even GOP elected officials who refuse to acknowledge and even talk about and do something about this, which is enforce the existing laws and remove every single sanctuary city and make sure that every person who earns a living here in the United States, whether they're considered an employee or a contract worker, no jobs should go to people who are not legally authorized to work in the United States. And it really is that simple.
Maria, I will say this, and please correct me if you think I'm wrong, but for Donald Trump to say maybe it was off the cuff or maybe it was just basically a remark that was in jocular fashion, I'm not sure. He said, well, we'll just take these illegal aliens and we'll put them in San Francisco. We'll put them in Rahm Emanuel, Chicago, etc. Right. And I say no, because I don't want to have the increased expense as a taxpayer, and I don't want them here in this country. I saw a study this morning that came out and said 3 years ago it cost the American taxpayers $116 billion with a B dollars for illegal aliens to be in this country, and now the estimates in 2019 are well over and close to $150 billion. That money could be better spent elsewhere and not housing and caring and feeding and everything else for illegal aliens.
Exactly. Well, I'm actually for sending the asylees. I think they're still illegal aliens because 90% of their asylum claims are said to be fraudulent or expect to be fraudulent. However, they get their day in court, But if the only way to shut these sanctuary city policies down and get these liberal mayors and governors even, all the way down to the police department as well, to stop promoting lawlessness and stop going to the microphone and saying all are welcome here. If you're an illegal alien, no problem. What is louder in these jurisdictions are the people. The people will get fed up with the crime, with the trash and feces on the streets, just like that's going on in San Francisco, the homeless not taking care of women and children who need those centers, and our vets, and jobs for our youth, and people to be able to support their families and just put food on their tables, on their American tables. The people are going to have to rise up and force these liberal elected officials to change their tune.
Absolutely.
That's the only way it's going to happen. When they feel it, I mean, let's be honest here, Zeb, these politicians are asking for illegal aliens and championing illegal aliens above the citizen. Not until they feel that sting are they going to change their tune, and that's only going to come from the pressure of the people around them and in their community.
I do agree with you on that concept. We've got to put all pressure on all pressure points, but therein lies the problem. We're looking at a liberalized Democratic Party that has gone so far left, and all 20 of their clown car rejects that are running for president, including the new one this morning, Joe Biden. I don't think you're going to have anybody that's really going to do anything for the border situation if, God help us, they are elected as president. Speaking of which, you must absolutely want to set your hair on fire when you hear the words out of Beto O'Rourke and Julian Castro's "no borders, let everybody in." This is insanity.
It is insanity, and maybe sending these illegal aliens to those sanctuary jurisdictions will speed up that process where they'll realize that and come to an awakening where the people will stand up. Look at Cher. Who would have thought that this woman who is a Trump hater is changing her tune? So that's the kind of pressure that we need, and that's the only way this is going to happen, because otherwise, you see, Zeb, the courts are not going to hold the rule of law, hold up the rule of law in these jurisdictions. They're voting for the illegal alien. You're slowly seeing this turn for our families and the victims. It should have happened decades ago, where our border was secure, and for our politicians to place our safety first and foremost, and they're not doing that. So, unfortunately, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better in this situation, unless these far-left liberal elected officials change their tune right now.
I was listening to a story, and I know that you're aware of these stories much more so than I am, but I was listening to a story the other morning where a family had lost one of their children because of a drunk illegal alien that had hit the person head on and killed him, and through the court system and everything, they basically let that illegal alien go back home. I mean, nothing more than a minor slap on the wrist, and yet this family is living here suffering without their loved one killed by an illegal alien. What do you tell these families?
Yes, that was actually brought up yesterday when I met with two family members whose son was killed, and you're talking about the Pierce Corcoran case, who was killed in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was very saddened to hear about that, and certainly frustrated. I just can't believe that was allowed in this, especially since the president knows what's going on and he set up the Office of Voice. In fact, that's a call that I need to make this afternoon and see if I'm just going to do everything I can for that not to happen, Zeb, because this illegal alien, and I even tweeted out that this is outrageous and that the illegal alien will be back here in the United States before dinner.
You know, one thing I wanted to ask you.
Pierce
does
not have a record. So when he comes back here, and commits another crime or kills another American, Zeb, he will not have a record. It would be as if that was his first infraction. So this is very sad. That should never have happened.
Absolutely. Maria, there's another aspect to the story where maybe they're not driving a car into somebody, maybe they're not shooting someone on a pier in San Francisco, but it's as deadly as if they used a gun, and that's all these diseases that are coming across the border that we thought had been basically curtailed and buried years ago, and now they're coming back. We're seeing 25-year high in measles. We're seeing tuberculosis cases. We're even seeing certain strains of polio, of which I know more about than most people, being a victim. And no immunization programs. And I am furious that nobody seems to care about this problem.
Right. You know, about 2012, we actually, a group of us, had a press conference in Austin, and this was under Governor Perry's watch. And we warned, we had a physician there. She was a Latina. I guess it doesn't matter, but we were hoping that the governor would listen a little more. Well, we were talking about the diseases back then. You know, my focus was the killings. So we had several people. We've been trying to raise alarm about this. You're right. You're seeing diseases that we eradicated years ago. And there's that measles outbreak that you mentioned in several states now. Texas is having the same problem. But let's not forget about the Ebola that's also been discovered, and the flesh-eating bacteria that is coming across that border as well.
Yes.
So very dangerous. You looking at third world individuals who are here who do not have the same standards of safety and regulation, hygiene and cleanliness as the United States. So, and when they're coming in here and they get through our detention points, this is what we're having. So I just caution everyone there, your listeners, to careful where you go. I try not to go into malls, especially careful when I go into hospitals. You know, I see people in the streets here. I was out for a jog this morning, and I saw someone wearing a mask. You know, it's to that point in some places.
Oh, my. Maria, final thought here. I'm almost out of time, but I wanted to ask you, as private citizens, please tell my audience what they should be doing and not taking a lazy approach or a kind of a passive approach. We need to get involved and put our, like I said earlier, boots on the desk and let people know that we're upset about this. What would you tell my audience every single person should be doing?
I would tell them to go to our website and sign up for our emails. Go to our Facebook page at Stolen Life Quilt and the Remembrance Project. And, you know, you must be doing something. Listening to the radio, although Zeb is fantastic, and watching the news is not enough. And even going to meetings is not enough. You have to actually take action. Are you making those calls? Are you with an organization that maybe is sharing the Stolen Life Quilt banners? Right now, Zeb, we are recruiting more chapter leaders or state coordinators, and we'll have a new website so the images and memorial panels of the innocent Americans who are permanently separated from their loved ones are going to be able to be downloaded and printed, so you can take them to rallies, you can take them to mail them to hearings or send them to hearings, and, you know, be a voice for the voiceless. We all have to play our part. And Zeb, I know you're doing a great job in your part. Otherwise, we would be, again, ignored and talking to ourselves. So thank you so much for being a voice for the voiceless and giving me this opportunity to share.
I tell you, this lady means a lot to me. I wish someday that we could meet and talk personally, but she is the national director of the Remembrance Project, which honors and remembers Americans and legal residents who have been killed by illegal aliens. It's the remembranceproject.org, and that's Maria Espinoza. Maria, I've got a quick call. I'm only going to have another minute. Call her real fast. Go. You're on the air, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring out the fact that since she's talking about these diseases, we need to remember to wash all of our fruits and our vegetables, whether they have skins or peelings or anything else on them. Make sure everything is washed really good.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir, for your call. Maria, go ahead.
Try not to buy from Mexico also, y'all. I know some vegetables and fruits are all you can get, but I try not to buy from only in locally grown in the United States.
Absolutely. Maria, God bless you and all that you do, and please come back soon.
Absolutely. God bless you too, Zeb.
Thank you very much. Wonderful lady, Maria Espinoza of the Remembrance Project, and I thank her for being on the program. We've got a problem, and boy, next Tuesday, I want to hear what Mike Crapo's got to say, that if anything is being done to stop a caravan of over 20,000 people just coming in and saying, we're coming in and you can't stop us. That's an invasion. That's war. Let's have a weather forecast here real quick, brought to you by our friend that we just talked about a little bit ago, Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, and you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Oh, the bacons he was talking about, all the delicious bacons and the tri-tips and the different marinated pork ribs and the sausages. Oh, yeah. You're going to love the meat from Scarrow's Meats. Number to call, 324-7657. Scarrow's Meats in Jerome. And right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Looks like we're going to have a great weekend. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. For today, expecting mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to be around 71. Then for tonight, clouds moving in, maybe a slight chance of showers, expecting a low of 47. As we move into Friday, we will enter a high wind watch, looking for partly sunny skies, areas of blowing dust, and a high of 67. Then Friday night, mostly clear and windy with a low of 38. Then for Saturday, sunny skies, a high of 64. Saturday night, mostly clear and a low of 37. Then for Sunday, sunny and 61. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Have a great day.
Oh, man, I tell you, Scotty, thanks for filling in this morning with our weather forecast. We appreciate it. Brought to you by Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Don Scarrow, he was on just about 25-30 minutes ago. Did a heck of a great job, and they've got delicious meats from Scarrow's Meats, where they say, changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Wow, I got time for a phone call, maybe two. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What have we got planned for next Monday? Boy, we are going to hit the ground a-running next Monday. We've got a gentleman coming on that is nationally recognized as a Second Amendment advocate and spokesperson, and he's the author of the book called Good Gun, Bad Guy: Behind the Lies of the Anti-Gun Radical and Good Gun, Bad Guy 2, Destroying the Anti-Gun Narrative. That man is Dan Wass, and I'm looking forward to having him on the program. He's going to be on at 9:30 next Monday. The first hour, we've got an open forum from 8 to 9. Then my good buddy with Americans for Prosperity, that's, of course, Richard Manning, will be on at 9:06. And then, of course, we've got lawyers with the Pacific Legal Foundation coming on at 10:06. And then Vicky's Country Gardens at 10:30. That's what's on the slate for next Monday. I want to remind you, too, that we're very, very proud of our major sponsor, and we can't thank them enough for what they do, not only here, but also for you, with a great big spring tire sale going on right now where you can save a lot of money on your tires and drive safely. All the different tread designs, all the sizes for your cars, your pickups, your SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever. They've got all the tires for you. And super service. I mean, they come at your vehicle at a high lope saying, may we help you? Absolutely. Also with the best in brake service and front end alignments and shocks and struts and batteries. All of this at all 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, you bet. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'm going to do the same. We're going to get outside and enjoy as much of the wind. Oh, it sounds like it's going to get windy today and tomorrow, and then maybe clear up for the weekend. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend with your family. You're probably getting ready, all the plans for graduation services, whatever. And we'll be back here on Monday at 8:06. That's right here on K-Bar 1230 AM and streaming live on the internet all over the world. And by the way, thank you to all our worldly listeners for all your kind emails and thoughts. Right here, ZebBell.com. Don't forget that. We always end the program by saying the way things were are the way things ought to be. And the world needs more cowboys. We'll see you next Monday at 8:06. Wheels, you have a good weekend too.